Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video to what I normally make. Before I get into anything, first of all, this is the second time I've noticed it, and so I want to point it out. If you are a YouTuber and you have any video, in the comments, if you get someone named Song, awesome video, trying to get you to respond to them or something like that, delete the comment. Because of this whole thing, I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to read it, but basically, this is the second time I've seen it on CardFight Vanguard content. Just delete the comment. Ooh boy, we got some juicy drama. So what is this whole video about? It is about to call out GTFO, otherwise known as fucking Moonrunes. I'll show it on screen. Whatever, the clan that used to be known as GTFO is full of account sharers. Why is this a problem and why am I talking about it? It's a problem because in the ladder that is for ranked, which is a joke by the way, solely because of them, it negates the ability for solo players to get high in the leaderboards. It's still possible, but it lowers their chances to get first or second or even third place. It promotes unhealthy playstyle for people who don't have a team. So the whole point of this is not to call out GTFO, to have them canceled, to have them be taken down from Vanguard Zero, or to have them banned or anything. The only reason, well, there's 4 reasons, but the reasons that I'm making this video right now are for A, to bring it to people's attention, to inform them that they are account sharing, to reduce any clout they try to gain from flaunting said hollow victories, such as getting retweets or recognition or that type of shit, because I don't care if they account share, because apparently it's not against TOS. What I do care about is when they use that in their self-image, like promoting GTFO, right? So they go around tweeting about like, oh look, I just finished first. No, you didn't. Your team did. It's also to bring it to game studios' attention that these people running an account 24/7 should be bannable, or at least strictly enforced, because it promotes unhealthy lifestyle, playing 24 plus hours a day and then sleeping for like 4 hours just to continue to climb just for a chance, and maybe they'll do something about it and then it can stop having to happen. And finally, to get all evidence I have surrounding the matter into one clean package instead of having to explain this multiple times to different people. For those unaware what I'm talking about, let me inform you. The former clan known as GTFO, also known as whatever this is, in whatever language this is, usually takes the first and or second place spot in every season of CardFight Vanguard Zero. Now, that, as I explained already, is a bad thing because it promotes unhealthy play. Like, I know I've asked this guy personally that he had to cancel life events and all that stuff just to try and to keep first place, which he used to have. Now, seeing as both of these two players are in GTFO, is what I'm going to refer to them because I don't know what this is. I guarantee these two players are going to share first place by the end of this season, just so you know. And it wouldn't be the first time they've done it, or the last. Now, before I actually get into the evidence that I actually have, I wish to say that if I'm proven wrong, I'll happily delete this video if GTFO desires. Otherwise, this video is staying up, and I'm going to stick behind my claims until proven otherwise. So, where does this begin? It begins with the preseason in the soft launch in Strictly Singapore, where Andreas took first place from all of GTFO, where he informed me, well, not me specifically, but he has said that GTFO contacted him specifically asking him if they wanted to share, or if he could share first place with them, which he declined. So instead, they settled for the next best option, which was to get all of their accounts to second place. I have no idea what happened in Season 1 for Blaster Blade season, as I was not even aware of GTFO at the time. However, the next season, Dragonic Overlord season, is where things actually start to unfold. Now, I personally grinded for top 10 and finished 10th in Dragonic Overlord season. And I've spoken to a lot of the players that finished top 10 that season, even top 15 personally, and the second place finalist had pointed out to me and brought to my attention that the person above him was climbing at abnormal hours, at abnormal rates, constantly. He would note that, let's say, for example, they would be climbing at midnight, right? And then he would go to sleep and wake up. They would have still been climbing and would continue to climb even after waking up for well over 30 hours plus. Now, you could argue that that's normal behavior for grinding for a first place spot in a leaderboard, but he claimed that it happened multiple times in a row. It could have been all-nighters, but the chances of pulling 2, 3, 4 all-nighters in a row are very, very, very small. Unless, of course, they were account sharing. So after all this had transpired, I wanted to take a first place banner from them on reindeer season, which as of recording is in about 28-ish hours, and I'm going to be going for first place on that season. And I will point out, right now, I'll say it here, I am going to account share. I'm not going to specify who I'm doing it with, but I am going to do it because I want to take first from them. Clearly, it's not bannable, so, I mean, what's the matter? And it's more healthy that way, overall. Another problem with them account sharing in the first place is it's not so much a big deal as of right now, but if we get tournament support like Japanese version did in the future, which might come out this next season, them taking those like top 10 spots of all of their members from account sharing hurts actual players, like actual committed players, because top 50 for a season gets an invite to those tournaments, according to Japanese, which is why this is a problem. So anyway, when this all started is I mentioned that I was going to get first place in reindeer season because I wanted to take away the first place banner from one of them. And then I made the comment, the boys are committing. The boys. Now, the significance of this is basically insinuating that I was going to account share, which apparently isn't bannable. Then later that same day, there was a tournament, and someone said that Jelly Beans, a GTFO member, had beaten them, had beaten them, and then they beat them, or whatever. But as indicated in this picture, they weren't even in the bracket, so I was so confused. And I called them account share because under the claims that all of GTFO is account sharing. Much later in the day, at some point, Chalice in the same Discord had commented on it without any at Silveryoshi doesn't work like that or nothing like that. He just said, hey, I just want to say multiple people running an account doesn't mean more ranks, which would insinuate that he knows that that's not automatically how you get higher up in the rank, which is obvious, but it could also be construed as him account sharing previously. He then got into a conversation about how that it's going to take more than one person for me to beat him, and I was added towards him saying that I was going to take first place from him. Now, this is one of the big key things. Chalice then says, no problems. We'll take that season 2. We will. Now, I hadn't known about this until a couple days after, but apparently at that same time, around that same time, the exact same Chalice had tweeted out that screenshot that I just showed you of the Discord that it was taken from, saying how toxic the Discord was and that I was involving the boys to get rank 1 during reindeer season. He added me on Discord with the tweet, and then within 20 minutes the tweet was deleted, so I cannot show you the actual tweet. Now again, this is hearsay. I can't say for certain if this tweet actually happened, but you could ask Chalice yourself. He'd probably deny it because he deleted himself, but it's not really part of my point. Now, this is where things started to actually piss me off. There was a interview posted onto YouTube with Chalice, the current first place of DO season at the time, basically asking him all about his deck and how he plays and that type of shit. Now, I want you to listen specifically to his wording on this shit.
So much, Chalice, right now for all your responses that you've given today. We want to probably know now, I'm guessing a number of people would love to know if you've actually put a decent amount of money into the game, or did you spend a huge amount of time crafting for the cards that you needed for your perfect deck? Now, I call it the perfect deck because it seems to be working so well for you. So please fill us in. Did you spend a heap of money, or did you actually craft your cards? Awesome.
It didn't take me long to build the deck, as I already had a good understanding of Royal Paladin, as I played it for the majority of last season. Like, I played Kagero for like the first week of last season, then the next 2 weeks I just started playing Royal Paladins, because I got bored of Kagero. I was intending to play Risers this season actually, but I didn't have much luck opening them from packs. Like, from my packs I opened 3 Garmors, so I like more or less know what I was playing this season. Then after that, I just went into the ladder immediately with an upgraded RP deck that I finished top 10 with last season. And it did surprisingly well. Yeah. I was ranked top 10, I think 8 of 9 place, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I finished top 10 quite frequently. Like the pre-season I finished, like I shared the second place with many of my team, like my friends. And then
I was ranked like top 10, 8th or 9th place. I finished top 10 quite frequently. Like the first preseason I finished, like I shared the second place with my team, like my friends. Now, it's not any surprise, as I mentioned earlier, the entirety of GTFO shared second place in the preseason, which he basically stated. However, what I want to make point of is he was starting to say my team, but then quickly changed it to my friend. This could be overanalyzing the way he wanted to word it. However, the way I see it is it's basically him hinting at the fact that all of GTFO accounts shares per season. How come no more than 2 people climb any more per season after the preseason? Huh? Like in Overlord season, you saw in my picture, another one of the GTFO was in 6th, but I can't find a picture of top 5, but Chalice was 1st, and then this other guy, Doublet, was 6th. There was no other GTFO members in top 10. There's never more than 2 after the preseason. Then, about a week after the end of Overlord season, this tweet was put out by Chalice himself. I just want to clarify, since I see accusations going around saying multiple people are playing Chalice and Jellybean's accounts. Now, I want to point out that I don't know who else accused them of account sharing. Besides that one mention of Jellybeans, I had never mentioned his name ever again. And yeah, so just Chalice. We sleep, we pull all-nighters, and we hit our quota before resting. We just have that much time being in quarantine. Now, I have a couple problems with this tweet. Firstly, at the time of this tweet, Singapore, I believe, isn't in quarantine anymore. So that's not really a valid point, but I'll let it slide because I'd argue that I'm still in quarantine, but I'm not, but it's a whole thing. Now, the all-nighters, we sleep, quota, the whole thing. As I already went over this in the beginning, or not in the beginning, but earlier, you can't pull an all-nighter 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. 2, maybe 3, not really, without it affecting your game. The other thing with this tweet is that's basically him flat out denying that it doesn't happen. But it also can be construed is that he's avoiding it, because he never says that they don't do it. He just dodges the question saying, we sleep, pull our all-nighters, and do whatever. He doesn't say that we don't do it, which leaves it open to, if in the future, and by the future I mean right now as of this video, were to come out and be like, yo, they do this, he could be like, we never said we didn't. And my final bit of evidence, I was in a Twitch chat today, which is the whole reason I'm making this video now. And someone had mentioned that they know someone who is friends with someone in GTFO. This person is real life friends with someone who is also real life friends with GTFO, meaning they all live in the same area, and I basically have insider information. And as these pictures show, well, I asked them to go to Discord DMs, and I asked if it'd be alright to share what our conversation. And basically, I asked him all about the GTFO situation of them account sharing, as shown here. So he goes on to say that 3 of them split 24-hour shifts, 8 hours each per person to push for a person per hour. I don't know what that per hour means exactly. So I asked for like proof, and this is where he says that his friend knows them. I redacted the name to keep the identity safe because he requested not to get them involved. But he also said that I could use this so long as I blur out the name. So then I asked him, or I show him the tweet, and he just laughs at it. And I show him the whole conversation earlier, and he says he'll investigate himself. And I show him the video, the interview, and he just continues to laugh because it's so ridiculous that they're still continuing to deny these allegations. So, in conclusion, TLDR, what should you take away from this video? First of all, I made this whole video not to put them on blast, but to get the exposure out there, like the information stating that this is what's happening, you should be aware of it, to detract any quote-unquote clout that they wish to gain from this, from such tweets like these, to get all of this information into one big package, because I'm sick of explaining this to people over and over again. And to also bring this to game studios' attention, if they were to do anything about it, because as of right now, it doesn't really matter. Ladder is a fucking joke in my opinion. It's full of just stupid shit, but it will be a problem next season with tournament mode added, or tournament support for official prize support sponsored by Bushiroad, because that's when it becomes a problem. So be sure to pass this video around to your fellow fucking VGO players, and if GTFO wishes to respond or deny any of this, provide some backup, some proof, I will gladly delete this video and apologize publicly, but until then, it's staying up and I'm sticking to my opinion.